So let's bring Nuno on who to join this conversation. He's recognized a few of the things you've been talking about this morning. Hola, bom dia, Nuno, tudo bem?
Hello, bom dia.
Raquel. Hi, Paul. Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Mike Blake joining us for the first time. I think we've talked to Cordelia before, Mrs. Blake. Let's talk to Mr. Blake now, Mr. Mike Blake. Good morning to you, Mike.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, this is a bit of a businessy special, and so you're most welcome today. You're a business guy, consultant, and how long have you been in Portugal now?
15 months.
15 months, and are you enjoying it?
Best decision I ever made. Yeah, can't say enough about it.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. That's lovely to hear. And we, as I say, we talk from time to time to Cordelia, who's a great help to us and our community. And she was telling us, and I see her promoting you and your course. Well, not a course, a seminar. I think it's tomorrow evening, isn't it, in Caldas da Rainha?
No, it's actually next week. But yeah, it's here in Caldas da Rainha, correct.
Okay, so what's going to happen? What are we going to learn with you?
So we're going to learn about how to grow your business into something that's durable and sustainable. And the reason I'm doing that is because, having moved here, I'm meeting a lot of people who are both Portuguese and have immigrated here. And they've got a business or something that's kind of a proto business. And I think there's a lot of folks that maybe started a business because they're here in Portugal. They couldn't find remote work necessarily. So they did what I did. They went into business for themselves. And they're kind of learning how to do that on the fly. So I'm hoping to provide some ideas and some skills as to how to actually go about doing that.
Yeah, because it's quite the learning curve, isn't it? It's quite the plot twist filled journey, actually, because I recognize that, and I'm sure Nuno and Raquel definitely would understand this. People coming to Portugal think, well, I'll just get a job. And then, okay, that's not as simple as I thought it was. I'm going to struggle to make the sort of money I need getting a job. My Portuguese might not be good enough to get a job. I'll start my own business. That's nice and easy, isn't it? Starting a business. I'll do that thing I've been wanting to do forever. I'll turn my hobby into my millionaire lifestyle. And that's a whole can of worms right there, isn't it? It's a great idea. And I really support people doing that. It's lovely to turn your passion into profit. But there's quite a lot of complexity in that. And you help people with that process, do you, Mike?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's easy to start a business. It's quite another matter to make the business actually, work and be durable and reduce the income that you had when you were working for somebody else.
Very good. Okay, so what's it going to look like? We go to this fantastic co-working space, I think, that you and Cordelia work at in Caldas.
Yeah, so we've been working at a place called Prontus here in Caldas. They have two locations now, both in town. One near the train station, and another near the Praça das Frutas, which has been brand new, renovated. It looks like as modern an office as you possibly could see, but with a twist. They're building a lot of community, so there's a lot of open space, interaction with our neighbors, and so forth. And then they now have a dedicated teaching area. And I think we're going to be one of the first to break that in as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Wonderful. Great news. Okay. And so who's aimed at? These people we've just described, really, who thought, okay, I'd love to start my own business. And they're kind of getting to the crash and burn part that you said. It's easy to start, but it becomes more difficult to continue. And there are all sorts of reasons for that, many of which we talk about with Raquel here, and many of which Nuno knows very, very well from his own experience as an entrepreneur here in Portugal. But is that the sweet spot of the type of client or the type of guest you're looking for next week?
Well, yeah, I think so. This is kind of an experiment of ours. When you come over here, you have a lot of ideas about what you think you bring to the table as an immigrant, and you're trying to contribute to the local community, right? The whole melting pot kind of thing.
Yes.
But you also want to be a little bit measured, because I've only been here 15 months. I don't consider myself at all an expert on anything Portuguese, except how to make mistakes. I'm really good at that.
There's a club right there.
We could all write a book together on that, right? But yes. Seeing what I see, and not just among locals, by the way, not just among immigrants, by the way, but locals. There seems to be a new entrepreneurial energy that I talk to people, and they say really hasn't been here before. The last maybe 2 to 3 years, lots of people now want to start their businesses. They're not just waiting for somebody to kind of hand them a job, hand them some income. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is reach out to anybody and say, look, if you're trying to do that, that's great. And I don't know if your business is going to be successful, is going to fail, but at least let's give you the tools necessary to give yourselves the best opportunity to succeed. And I've been working with entrepreneurs for my entire career, about 30 years, all around the world. And even though Portugal is going to, of course, has its own uniqueness, as does every society, there are some global truths about business, if you will, that apply everywhere.
This is fantastic. This is a lovely coming together this morning, because I know Nuno meets a lot of people, foreigners who come over, who want to give back, who want to start something meaningful. And we've been having conversations about that. Raquel, you definitely recognize this, don't you? Is there an entrepreneurial renaissance happening in Portugal at the moment?
Well, if it has, I've been riding that wave, spot on, because I started this business 2.5 years ago. So I guess I was pretty lucky to be quite on time with that wave. I do think that has rubbed off a little bit on the Portuguese, which is absolutely great. And just yesterday, I was talking about the difference of business culture between people from the US and people from Portugal. It's completely different for several reasons. And those cultural reasons often Portuguese put us back in terms of having the initiative of just creating things, and not be afraid that they'll fail. And that also explains a lot of the differences in entrepreneurship between the US and Portuguese. So although we have a lot of startups and unicorns, and that is because it's the new people, right? It's a new generation. They're not contaminated by the old people that are afraid of creating businesses and fail, because if you fail a business here in Portugal, it's like all your family is condemned. And so they don't have this stigma, which is fantastic, by the way. Yes. So I think they are really creating new things, which is fantastic.
I am so delighted to hear that. Nuno's definitely got a comment, which he's hiding behind now. Nuno, what's this? You recognize this trend, I think, don't you? And am I right in saying we do have more and more foreigners saying, I either want to start a business or I want to help businesses here, and they're coming like Mike with all this incredible experience, and they want to give something to Portuguese society. Is that something you're seeing, Nuno?
Yes, I see a lot of passion. Part of the expats just want to give back to the country that are welcoming them. Yep. Others, yes, they want to do some because they need to do some money. So I face these two realities. Now, business or entrepreneurship is not an easy thing, especially in Portugal, because we have the mindset, which is if you work to a great corporation like a bank or an insurer, you are well seen by the society. If you are trying to do by your own to earn your life and to provide jobs to others, yes, Raquel, or you are mad, or you are someone that just you don't have other opportunities, so you just are on the opportunity that is left, that is trying to by yourself. And this is one mindset that the mindset that we need to change in Portugal. No doubt.
Do you think it is changing? Is that where we're at the moment? There is a change.
Yes, I think so. Wonderful. Because young entrepreneurs, they just don't care. So let's others think what they want, but I'm going to follow my passion and my vision and what I believe. So yes, it's changing. Definitely.
And there is a serious. Sorry, mate. Go on.
And Portugal needs this.
Yes, that's true. Of course it does. And I think the government seemed to be quite supportive of this with some tax breaks for businesses. So there is a perfect storm coming together. However, in any country, I think, as you were saying, Mike, there are some universal themes, and failure is one of them. It's a brave thing to be doing. It doesn't always work out. Statistics about companies in Portugal say that close to 2/3 survive the first year, 52 remain in business after 3 years, and only a third exceed the 7-year mark. That's not a bad rate compared to some I've heard, but that's what you need to prepare yourself for, Mike, I think. And you need all the help you can get, right?
Well, that's it. You look at the businesses that have been most successful, that have been most durable. they succeed because they create a community of people that want to support that business. Now, people don't do that out of the goodness of their hearts. They do that because they see the value that the business creates, and they align with the mission that the business is bringing to the market. And there are some universal truths that, and a language, if you will, that transcends most societies.
Yeah, fantastic. So help is gathering, amassing to help you if you're an entrepreneur, I think, and the atmosphere is changing, the environment, which is great. Let's keep that going in the right direction together. Mike, I thought you were just popping on for 5 minutes to promote your seminar. It's great that this conversation has developed and broadened out. I'd also like to ask you, if I may, because you chose Caldas Rainha as a place to live, what are your favorite 3 things, given that it's our Portuguese point of interest of the week, a little bit of a focus on Caldas. What are the top 3 things for you about living there?
Well, number one is the people. When we visited here first 2.5 years ago, as we were scouting where to live, we started making friends right away, which I did not expect. When we were exploring coming here, there were a lot of people who told us or said on social media how difficult it was to make friends, and we were bracing for that. We found it to be the exact opposite. It's just been fantastic, and it ain't because I'm good looking, so it has to be something about
that'll be part of it. That's part of it, obviously, isn't it?
The second thing is the climate is fantastic. We're from Atlanta, and Atlanta in the summer it routinely breaks, I guess, 40 degrees centigrade. Whereas here we didn't even bother to buy an air conditioner. So the fact that our climate control consists of simply opening doors and windows is just something that we enjoy and we think is here.
Very good.
And 3, for us, it's in the Goldilocks zone. I grew up in a town that I don't think today even has a traffic light yet. We've lived in New York, we've lived in Atlanta, we've lived in Washington, I've lived in other big cities. We're not big city people. So Caldas is in that nice Goldilocks zone where it's big enough that we don't feel that we're isolated from civilization, but it's not so large as to be sort of unfriendly and inaccessible. But if we want that, we're only an hour bus ride from Lisbon. So
absolutely.
It's a great location for us.
And that is the best way to get to Lisbon from Caldas, isn't it? On that bus. And those men who drive, and women who drive those buses and throw them around the streets of Caldas into the old Art Deco bus station. Shout out to them and their incredible driving skills.
Yes,
and shout out to you, Mike. So let us know next week, where can people come and meet you and attend your seminar?
Let's see. I believe it is next Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. And they can register. They can go to the website at prontus.pt and register.
Fantastic. As simple as that. Okay. And is that in the premises near the station? If people come in on the station, are they just walking up from there, or is it the one closer to the Praça da Frutas?
Yeah, it's in the latter. It's in the premises that's closer to the Praça das Frutas.
Okay, which isn't a million miles away, as to be said, from the railway station, and you'll get to see one of Caldas's iconic landmarks, of course, the Praça da Frutas. Although it won't be open at 5 o'clock in the evening, but not long until they set up again for next morning. Those people in that marketplace are incredible, aren't they? Every day they are setting up. You'd think, wouldn't you, after all these years, they'd have created a standing market, but every day it's taken down and put up again next morning, all part of the ritual of the Praça da Frutas in Caldas. Mike, great to meet you. I hope it goes well with the seminar, and I hope you'll come back and join us on our business session from time to time.
Great. Well, I had a lovely time. Thanks to all of you.
Cheers, Mike. Love to call Delia. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. There he goes. Well, how about that? How about that? The American entrepreneur coming over, wanting to help out a little bit. What else can we say about the entrepreneurial scene here in Portugal? Those statistics don't make... Well, I mean, do they or don't they? Is that a surprise to you, Raquel, to see that only a third of companies survive after 7 years? Or is that just what people should prepare themselves for? Because it's like just the process of business evolution.
There's a couple of factors that go into it. So one of them is that sometimes people think that it just takes an idea to have a business, and it doesn't. It takes a lot of pieces and a lot of moving pieces together to make a good business. Then I think it's also a matter of having the right professionals by your side, as I'm always saying, because a lot of businesses can get undermined because, like, you don't have good lawyers, you don't have good accountants, you don't have good managers. Okay, it's a good business, but somehow along the way either because the management or the accounting or the legal assessment isn't done correctly, it's going down the drain no matter how much money it's making. And I would also like to point out that we should add another bracket to that to that statistic, which is the over the 300 years mark, because we have so many businesses that are 100, like Portugal. You know, the steaks restaurant is about to turn 100 years old, like in 2025. You know, the post office is 500 years.
Yes.
A lot of businesses are like, I've seen one yesterday was from 1600 and something. So in Portugal, as much as, you know, there's disadvantages to our culture, there's also a bracket that we can add that not a lot of countries can put there.
And it's an amazing thing. It's the opposite of unicorns. Well, it's different to being a unicorn business. And the first thing I want to say is they are dinosaur businesses, but that sounds really bad, doesn't it? I guess you'd call them heritage businesses, and there are lots of them, and it's a lovely thing. And that's why you get characterful high streets here. You are seeing the new brands, global brands, but you're seeing a lot of old businesses, and that's a bit of a thing, isn't it? The mum and pops need a bit of support as well, don't they? Because their children often don't want to carry on the family business, and we don't want to see those sort of places closed because they're an incredible asset to the community. There's little hardware shops, and of course the many thousands of restaurants and cafes and little tushkas that there are in Portugal. We want those to continue. Right, now we've got you here, Nuno, from the insurance world, of course. Ruta was in earlier on as well, and we were talking about the cyber attack on the government websites. You often mention this, Nuno. This is a big issue, obviously, in the insurance world, isn't it? Is cyber attack. What's your view on the one that hit the government just recently?
So I left the government issues to the end because it will be a consequence of what I'm going to say. So we don't make a clue about what is happening regarding cyber attacks. No. Banks have special accounts just to pay, to indemnity, to refund customers due to cyber issues that they had. This week, you can Google it, that it occurs a cyber attack, actually several cyber attacks at robot vacuums in US cities, plenty of them. So they use the speakers.
What happened?
It happened with a specific Chinese brand, it's true, but it can happen with any brand.
Other nationalities of robo vacuum are available.
Well, it was a coincidence for sure, but these ones are Chinese, and people use these speakers to be shouting and screaming bad words through them. They were pursuing pets among the home. Yeah. Yes.
Hold on a minute. I just need to get this right, because you did mention this. We're in conversation just recently, and I think, okay, robo vacuums, that can't be that much of an issue. You know, so what? The house doesn't get vacuumed by the robo vacuum cleaner because it got a cyber attack. But they've got speakers on them, and they were expleting around the house instead of doing the housework, which I think I recognize that pattern. I can see myself in that, but also chasing pets as well. That's an extraordinary dystopian vision. I mean, comedic as well, but what a terrible thing to be happening.
No, as long as we only talk about vacuums, it's okay. But I don't think you are aware. I don't know if you are aware, but last week or 2 weeks ago, Musk present the robot,
Optimus,
his robot. Yes. And Tesla shares just go down on the next day.
Really? Because like nobody wants that chasing them around the house and swearing.
I don't know, but I think that the future is. I'm not an optimist regarding this, and I express this once in a while. That is, I love tech, and I love electrical EVs, electric cars, but with all the tech, problems will come. So I think that we'll start hearing some problems, that card being hacked and so on, because there's no how to avoid this. This
Well,
is
it
a real
happened,
problem.
didn't it? I think it happened with some EVs. Some
I don't know.
self-driving. It was some taxis some self-driving taxis started honking their horns in the middle of the early hours of the morning. I mean, if it's that easy to make them do that, it does make you wonder about what can be done with an Optimus. You're not optimistic about Optimus, by the sound of it. And you were going to connect that to the government and to insurance, presumably, as well. How is it going to be for industry?
Yes, so government, as any other organization, is subject to cyber attacks.
Yes.
And so this is what happened. And because IMA and government have all this visibility, we are aware, and there are news about that, and that we are aware of the attacks, cyber attacks. But there are cyber attacks at any moment. In this moment, several cyber attacks will be happening worldwide. Actually, there are some websites that shows where the cyber attacks are coming from and what are the countries that they are hitting.
Yes.
So people know about this, and we are used to use the web, but there are the dark web, that it is where everything happens. So yeah, let's enjoy life, the rain today, the sun tomorrow, and
Excellent
much about
advice.
this.
Hey, we've got some questions for you and observations for you professionals here this morning. Thank you for being here. I didn't expect the conversation to go quite in this way, but it is a very good one to be having and to be reflecting on. If you want to lose money even before you receive your bank card, get a WeZync card, allegedly, a credit card. There are hundreds of cases of people already having stuff being bought with their card. That's nice. I mean, looking at that another way, somebody's warming up your card for you and breaking it in, aren't they, and christening your card for you. I mean, that's a service in a way, and they're not even charging you for it. Well, they kind of are, in a way. The digital key, Raquel, digital key, Raquel. Is it even new microphone, new name? Is it even available for those of us on the temporary residency for 5 years? Okay, good question. Is that Oh, for anybody?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It has to be a special process because all citizens have access to this. Okay, so usually after 5 years, you get the possibility of having citizenship. So those 5-year marks, when we talk about those 5-year marks, is usually to apply for citizenship. And this is available to all citizens, but it is also available to people with temporary residency in a limited scope of time, of course, because we don't know if that residency is going to be given again or if not, but it is possible. And I just remembered another thing. For instance, the criminal record, you can get yours online. You don't have to go anywhere, completely remotely. You pay €5 and you get it on the mail. So there's a lot of good things with technology. And as you know, as with everything, when trains started to exist, everybody thought it was crazy because it would knock, the horse industry out of the way. It would promote communication, but also all the cities that were in between all those older posts it vanished. That's the thing, that's why there's that saying, adapt or die. And this is very true in companies, and it's also a bit true in life. And I just wanted to get my 5 cents here. I've been working with like 3 generations different, and we have to learn to work together. And this is the sweet spot, is where you have the experience of a 40, 50-year-old, not my case, but that's the age bracket. And then you have like a 20-year-old, but a working, smart 20-year-old, not someone that doesn't want to do anything. Because this is just such a great combination of experience and then capacity of learning new things, or already even knowing new things. That blows us out of this world. So there's a dark side, as Nuno says, to every good side. I'm quite the opposite of Nuno. I'm usually an optimist. What brings me down mostly is the state of the climate, and that does give me that. I try not to think about that because that really puts me down, the climate change. But other than that, not much can bring me down. And we have to try to. There's balance in everything, and we've had all the society. The civilization has been through so many changes, and everybody thought it would be catastrophic in some way, and then we adapt and
we figure it out, don't we?
Yeah,
it's funny because I saw a little quote that I was going to put up on the screen a little bit earlier on, and we've got the God Squad tip of the day, and we've got some lovely not so deep thoughts to come to after I've said goodbye to you both. But there is this lovely quote. I don't know who Eugene Ionesco is, but ideologies separate us. We're definitely seeing that in the world at the moment, aren't we? And dreams and anguish bring us together. And I think that is pretty much how it is for us, isn't it? The dream of the future and some of the challenges, the anguish that we're facing, like you say, can bring us together in a way that ideology will probably just continue to separate us. So thank you, Eugene, for that. There was another observation from the Portuguese. Thank you for answering that question about the digital key. Thank you for that information, Antonio, about the WeZync credit card. Be careful with that one. First thing about Portugal that I read, that the taxes of a company are estimated for some period of time. And when they get their first true company accounts in the third year, possibly, they get a shock or a surprise. Is that true?
No.
You need good professionals, don't you? I think that happens because people haven't attended to it.
See? No, this is not true at all. I mean, I couldn't even imagine the circus that the market would be if this were true. No, that's not at all true. There's an estimation. There's you do it in installments. There's you partition the payment so that you don't pay everything in one go.
Yep.
But other than that, is based on accounting papers. So black and white, as true as it may be. So
good.
No.
So get yourself decent professionals. I think. I mean, I can relate to that in the sense that having had not very good advice, or not getting good advice, and then getting some advice which wasn't brilliant originally when we started a business, that can hurt you, and that may be part of what's going on there. So get on board with good professionals from the get-go. You're looking at one on the screen right now, and this from the Portuguese. Can you get insurance against cyber attacks, Nuno? Of course, we give up our biometrics for our convenience, don't you know? They're doing it for us, for our safety, for our convenience. What are you, a conspiracy theorist? Now, all this data, that your fingerprints and your retinal scans and stuff, they're presumably on these sites that are getting cyber attacked. If you suffer a loss as a result, Nuno, is there a policy or a claim that you can pursue?
Yes, there are insurance policies that cover cyber.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, at least in Portugal until now, only companies can have it. So me as a private person, I cannot buy a cyber insurance policy, only through a company. Okay.
Well, there's a good opportunity there, Nuno.
Yes, but we are evangelizing companies, and the Portuguese mindset is, oh, it never happened, so it will not hit us.
Yes.
Okay, just wait. It's a question of time.
It's a question of time, like so many things, isn't it? Okay. And just on a practical note, James, so far the best advice I've heard for managing this is to frequently change one's login codes. I mean, how boring is life going to get if every Sunday night you have to go to your computer and change your 3,000 passwords? Maybe that is what's going to happen. Use a password manager, says James. Enable two-factor authentication, which again is like kind of great, but we're being delayed, aren't we? We're being inconvenienced for our own safety, and there just seems to be more and more of that all the time. And of course, rotate passwords. And I think the pair of you from different angles really have nailed it this morning. It's like you've got to live life, haven't you? It's important to remain optimistic. It's important to embrace progress, but also important to remember nature. So I guess it's like a hybrid of an Optimus robot and a Boy Scout, Nuno, perhaps is the person of the future, maybe as well. Thank you both very much. I'm going to stick around and do the God Squad tip of the day and some of these other comments that have come in. But Nuno, thank you very much. Raquel, thank you very much. Your sound was superb today, may I say. Ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you so much, both of you. There they go.